Hello everyone, it's Robin the Delta Crafter, and I want to thank you for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel. Recently on my Instagram page, I've been seeing a lot of a particular type of technique, like the recommendations has been serving this up to me, the algorithm's doing its thing, and it's been serving up a technique where a artist is using like a round object, usually like a glass or something like that. They dip it in watercolor and they create ornaments out of it and create a card or a scene or something like that. So I'm going to give this technique a try today. So let's talk about the various different items that I'll be using today. So I have some Canson XL watercolor paper. And this is my pad of watercolor paper, and it comes in 9 by 12. So I've gone ahead and cut down a 9 by 12 piece into four panels. So each of these panels is 4.5 by 6. So if I decide to make this into an A2 card, which is 4.25 by 5.5, I'll have to trim off some of the sides. I don't mind this being a little bit larger right now, because I also don't mind if I decide to carry my ornaments all the way across. I don't mind cutting off some of the ornament. I think that might add to the whole appeal of it all. So I've got my watercolor paper. Then you need some sort of round object. So I just went into my kitchen and grabbed 2 round glasses. So I think that for this technique, having a whatever you use that's round, having it be glass is probably going to serve you best. That way, if you want to dip in a couple of different colors, you can easily wipe this off. There won't be any stain or any residual color left behind that if you that would transfer onto your new color. So this I think I'm going to prefer to use glass. I've never tried this before. I'm trying this for the very first time right here on this video with you guys. So we're going to see how this works. Then you'll probably need some sort of paper plate, because you're going to need to put your watercolor on the plate, and then you're going to dip your round object into the watercolor and then stamp it basically onto your watercolor paper. So you need a paper plate. Of course, you'll need some sort of vessel to hold some water, and then you'll need paint brushes. So I think I'm going to use this Royal and Langnickel paint brush. This is my go-to paint brush for my watercoloring. This is a size 8. On the examples that I've kept seeing on Instagram, they also use, or traced, should I say, their final ornaments with a fine marker. So this is a Copic multi-liner in 0.5. So I'm going to have this on the side. I'm not sure if I want to actually like trace and outline my ornaments, but I probably will need to draw a line and maybe a little bow with my with this marker. So this is going to be on the side and hanging out over here. And then I also have you'll need some water. I always keep like a bottle of water. This is just regular tap water, but I keep this up in my craft room because I don't have a sink in here. And I just fill this up with water. That way, when I'm ready to spritz something or sprinkle something, or in this case, need some water for watercoloring, I have water available. So let's go ahead and get ready to do this technique. So earlier when I was showing you all the supplies that we were going to need, I forgot the most important supply, which is your watercolors. Now, I'm imagining that you could use any type of watercolor paint that you may have, even if you have some liquid watercolor paints. I'm going to use my Kuretake Gansai watercolor set that on my previous watercolor videos, you guys I've said previously how much I love this particular set. It is so vibrant and just so full of colors, and I like the assortment of colors that that it gives you in this set. This is the, what is this, this is the 36 piece set, and so it comes with a couple of metallics, but there is a separate full metallic set, or like I think it has like maybe 6 or 8 different metallics in it. I plan to get that set. I haven't purchased it yet, but I would love to get it. But you can see here on the samples that I made of the pans, there's a great variety of colors in this 36 set. So we're going to go in and choose a couple of colors that we're going to start with. So I think I want to, I know I want to create a red, and I think I'm going to do one of these blues as well. So let's go ahead and just start out with the traditional red set. And I think I'm gonna go with this red, which would be this one. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is I have my paintbrush sitting in some water over here. I'm getting some good amount of saturation on my paintbrush, and I'm going to dip it into the pan of my watercolor. Then I'm going to bring that over here. This is going to take a little bit because you're going to need enough paint on your paper plate to make sure that you can dip your vessel into it. So I think I'm going to bring in my spritzer, my distress sprayer, and I'm going to spray a little water into my paint. And that's going to activate this paint, so then I can pick up some more. And there we go. That's helping. And then I'm going to spritz a little bit more, some water in here. So it looks like we're gonna need a distress sprayer. Will help you out as well. So I'm gonna continue to pick up the color, the paint, and bring it over and add more water until I have enough to make my panels. Another thing you can do that I just thought about is these pans are removable from the full set. So I can just come in and kind of brush some of the paint onto my area here. So I think we've got enough paint on our paper plate. So I'm gonna put my pan back over there. And now I'm going to bring in my my round vessel and my watercolor paper. So I'm gonna make 2 cards in the red and 2 panels in the red and 2 panels in the black. So the example that I saw had enough paint where it was spread out where you could just dip your round vessel into the paint. What I think is going to end up happening here, since my plate is waterproof and it's kind of not letting my plate is waterproof, it's not letting my paint spread out like I would like for it to, I may end up just having to kind of roll my jar or my glass in the paint. So then I get paint all over the edge. Okay, so there we got that. And I'm gonna stamp one here. There we go. Then I'm gonna stamp another one a little bit. I'm gonna have them overlap, but it's gonna kind of be up here a little bit. And then I'm gonna have another one, maybe a little bit lower like so. Okay. It's good to have some sort of waterproof surface that you're working on. I'm working on a glass craft mat from Glass Mat Studio. This is a fantastic work surface for all types of crafting. So if you want to pick up one of these, I have a discount code that'll be linked in the description, and you can grab that code and pick up one at a discounted price. All right, let's kind of do one up here. Try to change my composition up a little bit. Maybe one over here like this. And then one like that. All right, I like that. And if you want, you can go ahead and you know, wipe off your container, your vessel, with a damp cloth. Of course, you'll need to wash this. You know, you don't want anybody using that with any potential residual paint on it. So you'll need to wash that. But at least now you've cleaned it up with, you know, most of the paint gone. So I'm going to set my plate aside, and I'm going to clean up this little paint here. And now we're going to come in with a clean paintbrush. So I'm going to dip my paintbrush into the water, because I just want to use the paint that is already on the panel and use that to fill in my bulb. All right, so got a wet paintbrush here. And now I'm just going to go along the edge and kind of activate that paint that's already on here that we kind of stamped on here. So you're going to gently, easily go around the edge and kind of bring that paint that's on the edge, you're going to bring that into the middle of your ornament. You're going to get a beautiful watercolor effect like this. So just keep going around the edge and bringing that watercolor in, making sure that your brush is pretty damp, pretty wet, right there. All right. With the watercolor, we, you know, don't want a uniform color. That's the point of watercolor. You want some high areas that are darker than others. And I just absolutely love that. Now you're gonna keep moving on. You might want to re-wet your brush and continue moving around all of your your ornaments that you stamped, and activating the ink to fill in your bowls, your ornaments. Just keep working your way around. If your paint dries before you get to it, this is watercolor paint, so just re-wetting it will reactivate it. Sorry if my head is getting in the way of the shot. What I'm realizing is that this is a very forgiving technique. The most precise thing is going to be the image that you stamp, or your circle that you stamp. Once that is stamped down, then what happens in the inside is, you know, pure gold to me. I can definitely see now where coming in with your fine line black marker, helps, because where I have the overlap, you can't really tell, you know, what ornament is which. And if you want to give the impression of one ornament in front of another, then you might want to outline the one that you want in the forefront. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to do that with one of these panels. So you can leave it at this, or you can continue to work that paint into the middle, however you choose. I'm going to, once I do this right here, I'm going to go ahead and call it good and move on to the next panel. The more dry your paint is, the more wet you will want your brush. So go ahead and keep a nice wet brush to reactivate that paint and bring it into the middle. All right, while I work on this one, I'm probably gonna put some music on and speed it up. That way you don't have to sit here and watch me do the second panel. Noticing is that the more dry your paint is, which, you know, this is to be expected, the more dry your paint is, the more you're going to have to work with the edges of where the paint is to draw the paint out, to get the paint moving again. So you may need to tilt the paper to help you a little bit with that. Use gravity as your friend. You may need to kind of go up to the edge of the paint and kind of tease it a little bit and encourage it to come on out of there. You may need to do that. Just continue to work with your paint and get it to move how you want it to. Bring some of this up right here. All right. That looks pretty good. Happy with those. Okay. So I'm going to give these panels a little bit of time to dry, and we're going to move on to create our blue panel. All right. And my paints here, I think I'm going to go with this blue right here. This is number 66. I'm going to go ahead and take the pan out and start getting some of that on my plate. So I'm going to use my distress sprayer, wet that pan up. You can see I like this color because it's kind of got a hole in it where it's been used a lot. All right, so and I'm going to take that same brush and I'm just going to move it around and kind of get that water activating this paint. So I think this is going to be enough, and because I didn't mix any colors or anything, if I need more, I can make more. All right, so I'm going to set my paintbrush over here to the side and bring in our two panels. And this time we're going to use the smaller vessel. This is a shot glass, so it's going to create much smaller ornaments so we can create more of them on our panels. So go ahead, I'm going to kind of roll this around in our blue paint. A little bit thicker, so I think I'm going to like that. So I'm going to try to match it up with the first one. If it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. All right. All right, that was pretty good. I'm going to stamp a sentiment on here, so I kind of want to leave some space for that. Ooh, where do we want to go? All right, let's go right here. I may need to get some clean water, but we're gonna see how this works. Oh yeah, this is gonna be pretty. This blue is gorgeous. All right, we have finished both of the blue panels. We're gonna set those aside and let those dry and move on to the next step. All right, so off camera, both of these panels have had a chance to dry. I did not hit them with the heat tool. They just dried naturally. So now these are ready for us to use our multi-liner marker on. So what I saw done previously was, let's let that right there. They would outline the ornament just kind of freehand, and then they would draw strings as well in like little bows, or they might draw the top of an ornament, the top ornament topper. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to outline this ornament and then make it the full circle, and then have these two ornaments kind of be in the back. So you just kind of freehand. This is very, you know, loose. There's no precision to this. You just kind of come in. I probably should start here at the bottom. It doesn't, you're not trying to outline it perfectly. It's just the insinuation, if you will, of an outline. So I'm just going to come around here like so and go like that. So now, in order to help us, and you might want to put more than one, so I think I'm going to put 2 of them kind of to help with that. And so now, in order to help these 2 ornaments look like they're in the back, I'm just going to outline this edge and this edge, and that way the part that would be behind this ornament kind of looks like it's behind the ornament. So we're just going to go here like this and do another one like so, and then do this like that and like that, and do the same thing for this one. Again, freehand, no precision needed, just free yourself and to kind of enjoy the process. All right, so there we have some outline to our ornaments. So now for this one, I think I'm going to draw some ornament toppers. And I kind of want like this, and maybe I flare out a little bit and kind of just draw some lines like that. Do the same thing for this one. And the same thing for this one. Layer and draw some lines to kind of insinuate the grooves. And now I'm going to draw a line like that down to our ornament. That one was a little off a little bit, but that's all right. All right, so you can add a sentiment by stamping one. If you left a space like I did here, maybe possibly if I can find a stamp that will stamp right there, you can do that, or you can go in and write it in. You know, if you like your handwriting, you can go in and write it in with this pen. I think I'm going to leave some space to stamp it in, but I'm going to do that a little bit later on. Switch those out, bring those over, see if they've had enough time to dry. It looks like they have. And because these are smaller, we're going to be able to draw lines and circles around all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and put on some music and let you guys watch as I make these ornaments come to life. I decided to leave the little tails off on the blue ornaments, and I think I like that a lot. All right, so we've got 2 reds and 2 blues. So I want to add some sparkle to these panels. So I'm going to bring in some Tim Holtz Distress Rock Candy. Now this is the vintage bottle, the larger side that was released for limited edition. You may be able to still find it out there on the market. I think it's supposed to be available through the end of 2023. But if you cannot find this larger bottle, he does make a smaller container of rock candy that is still available on the market. This larger container was just made for the holiday season. So I'm going to bring in some rock candy as well as some Barely Arts glue using the ultrafine nozzle. I really like this nozzle a lot because it gives me a lot of control over the size of my glue. So I'm going to come in and take one of the panels and just start decorating these ornaments with some glue dots, and then we're going to sprinkle some rock candy on top of it. All right, so let's go. So all of our panels have been created and they've been embellished. So we're just going to give this glue some time to dry, and then we'll come back with to make our cards and finish everything up. All right, so our ornaments have, our card panels rather, have had a chance to dry overnight, and I did have to make a few adjustments. On this card, the smaller dots that I made just were too tiny for this large of an ornament. They were just one line of the small dots, and they just were too small. So I did come in with some Artis glue from scrapbook.com and make some small, larger circles on the edge of the ornament, and sprinkled that with some of the rock candy, and was able to get some larger glittery spots on this ornament. I was okay with these ornaments because there were multiple lines of the tiny dots. So I was okay with this one. And then I liked the little glint over here on this ornament as well. So this one is the only one that I came in and made a few adjustments to. I liked that there were multiple lines on this one, so they had lots of glitter and shine on this one. That was also done with the rock candy. This one was done with that Martha Stewart chunky glitter, and you can see just how much more shine this one has just because the glitter was a little bit larger. But all in all, I think this might be my most favorite panel thus far, just because the different colors of the sequin confetti mix just really adds a lot of just adds a lot to the card. Plus these ornaments are smaller, so you got multiples of them. So this one really came together. I like them all, and for different reasons, but this one just might be my most favorite. So it's time to get some sentiment stamped on the panels and the cards assembled. So I've gone ahead and added some foam tape to the back of these panels. That's probably best because these are watercolor panels and they have been wet, so they've curled just a tiny bit. You can see a little bit of a bow there. So the foam tape is going to really help these flatten out and secure nice and strongly to our card bases. I have some accent opaque cardstock here that I've made for my card bases. These are going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 or A2 size cards. And by applying this panel to the back of this card base, I am complete. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at each of these cards. I really do like how easy this technique is, and I like being able to add glitter and shimmer to them using various different types of glitter. Now you can imagine if we used a different color glitter on more of these, which I might do do this technique again and use some different colors of watercolors, and as well as some different colors of glitter or confetti mixes. So much shimmer and shine on this card. So that completes this first edition of I Saw This on the Internet, and I wanted to give it a try. I want to thank you all for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel. As always, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Delta Crafter, as well as on my website, thedeltacrafter.com. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel to join the Delta Crafter family. Until next time, everyone, enjoy! Happy holidays!